before. Be the you never thought you were before. Be the you never thought you were before.
Check for milk. Oh, we're good. Fab. All right, so now your skin's nice and wet. Now we're gonna go in for the cleanse. This is the second cleanse. This is gonna be a water-based, a gel, a lotion-y kind of thing, anything that has more of a water base. This is the water phase. So again, my absolute holy grail is the Then I Met You Soothing Tea Cleansing Gel. This is amazing. I'll go into it more in the other video. Close second is Naturium, and that's the Niacinamide Cleansing Gelée, 5%, 3%, I'm sorry, 3 or 5? 3%. I use these in concert, so I'll show you what I do. You don't need to, you can find one that does it. So the texture of this is quite wild. So I just use, sort of a bean-sized amount. And then for the Naturium, I add in about 3 pumps. Yeah, that's about right. And then we mix these bad boys together. Oh, yes, alien goo. So the thing that is causing this disgusting but hilarious texture is the fermentation in the cleansing gel. Do not be alarmed. All right, here comes the cleanse. Again, dispersing the cleanser on the skin. Move it around. Don't forget your ears. All right, now for years I've said to my clients, you wanna wash your face for 40 to 60 seconds or 2 verses of Old MacDonald. I'm just adding a little bit more water. So full on sing it. Old MacDonald had a farm, fingers, E-I-E-I-O. Gentle on that farm, he had some pigs, E-I-E-I-O. With an oink oink here, there, here an oink, there an oink, everywhere an oink oink. Old MacDonald had a farm. On that farm he had some cows. With a here and there, here, there, everywhere. Old MacDonald had a farm. Yo. All right. So that's a good cleanse. You need to give this product time to work. Break shit down, lift it up. The whole action of foaming, and this is a pretty gentle foam, is it captures and lifts that crap on the face, which is what in turn rinses it away. So, but I need to shave. Whatever shall I do? And I haven't really exfoliated for a few days. So what do? Well, there is a little bit of an exfoliant in the Soothing Tea Cleansing Gel, but because I haven't shaved in a while and I really want to get this skin up, I'm actually going to use another combination exfoliant. I'm going to use a powdered exfoliant. There are several on the market. Those of you who know me know that my OG, Dermalogica Daily Microfoliant, anybody who talks shit about this product needs to be slapped upside the head. Also, every other powder that you see on the market is a ripoff of this. This is the OG powder exfoliant. They had a follow-up, the Daily Superfoliant. This is more acid-based where the microfoliant is enzyme based. I'm going to be using enzymes. One of the best dupes I've seen for the daily microfoliant is from Indeed Labs, a good Canadian brand. Indeed Labs with their Exfoliator 2. They had one initially and then they reformulated it and brought it back out. It's very good. I find it a little bit stripping, but it's okay. But I like it, and it's a great price. You can't beat the price. You're welcome. So I'm actually going to add a little bit to this cleanse. So the cleanser that's sitting on my face is now actually doing a mild chemical exfoliation. The Naturium niacinamide cleanser is actually imparting some niacinamide treatment into my skin while I'm doing this, which helps fortify the barrier. Also helps with hyperpigmentation and oil production. So then I'm going to add some daily microfoliant. Not a lot. You don't need a lot of this. There. So it's about quarter to scant half teaspoon, max. And then you want to get your hands real wet. And you start by lightly smushing them together. And then a little bit more aggressively. And what you want to do is get it to almost a point where you don't really feel grit anymore. There's a little bit, it's rice, so there's a little bit of grit, but it's not a gritty, like glassy walnut scrub kind of pumice rub thing at all. It's more like a light foam. And I'm adding that. And then this, I am gonna take all over. Because after I finish this sip, I'm hopping in the shower. You're not coming with me. Don't be too disappointed. All right, so again, fingertips, gently. This isn't like a 10-second roll, no. Work it in gently. When you come down to areas where you shave a lot or your skin isn't as sensitive, you can use a little bit more pressure and you can sort of do a lifting motion. And again, this is one of the few exfoliant type products. It doesn't tingle. There's no tingle to it. There's a modicum of salicylic acid in here, but really it's using papain, so papaya enzyme, to do the enzymatic portion. And then the rest is microcrystalline cellulose and rice powder. Oh. So now we're gonna do a shave. And this part, because the water's gonna be running, I'll just do a voiceover for this part, but I'll sort of show you what I'm doing. Oh, before we go any further, let's address shaving utensils. If you are a daily shaver, as in you go to the office, you shave every morning, no more than a 3-blade system, nothing higher. It's too aggressive. If you're somebody like me who shaves once in a blue moon or just does very light areas, 5-blade is the way to go. If you are exceptionally skilled and love a ritual, then the always fantastic original safety razors are marvelous. They're very, very gentle when used correctly. And then you can also go into straight razor shaving, which is, again, another art form. But keeping it simple, the KISS theory, keep it simple, stupid. We're gonna stick to 3 or 5-blade systems depending on the frequency with which you shave. So for me, 5-blade is the way to go. It's less aggressive. But in any event, get it all wet and lubed again. Here we go. Gently, no pressure. Just like with clipping, I'm gonna keep the skin taut And I'm going to try and take long, gentle strokes in one direction, so with the hair growth. And you might be saying to yourself, Rob, what the hell? What's up with you shaving with soap? Well, it's not actually soap, it's a cleanser. It's also an exfoliant, but it's about slickness, not about what it is. In this case, the medium is the message. So I'm using something that is not only a cleanser, but it's also a treatment cleanser. So stuff's going on in my skin while I'm working on my skin. And if you look at any commercial shaving cream, shaving gel, foam, anything like that, they're basically cleansers. They're very stripping, sodium-based cleansers. Yes, they're cheap, but why should you spend extra money for something specifically for shaving when you can use a treatment cleanser? Now here I'm saying once and once only. If a one direction shave does not work for you, where you need to do an against the grain shave, you're going to do it one time, not multiple passes. Each time that blade touches your skin, it is a multiple of that blade. So if it's 3 blades, 1 passes 3, 2 passes 6, 9, 12, up and up and up. And then equally so, 5, 10, 15, 20 for your 5 blades. So no, we just need to do 1 pass. If at all possible, try and come at it from a 45-degree angle. So you'll see here that I'm not going directly against, I'm kind of going on a little bit of an angle. And that's so we keep the hair that is just beneath the skin surface at a sharp point. We're not blunting it off. So we want to keep a little bit of a sharp edge on that hair so that as it comes through, it pierces as opposed to starting to ingrow or curling in on itself. When you have to go back over an area, instead of using your 5 or 3 blades, flip the blade over and use the single blade. You're minimizing damage at that point, and you're also getting precision. And while we're on the topic of the 3 or 5 blade cartridges, let's talk about cartridge versus disposable. Oy, oy, oy. I know that cartridges are expensive, and it's, carefully designed that way. Disposable blades are exactly that, disposable. They're wasteful, and you're gonna go through them. They are designed for a single use application, not multiple. Cartridges, depending on your hair growth, should last you, depending on how much you shave, maybe a week, maybe, if you're a daily shaver with a fairly coarse growth. The telltale sign of when to change your cartridge is when that blade goes against your skin. Does it feel like it's pulling your hair or does it feel like it's cutting your hair? If there's any discomfort in your shave, with or specifically with, and definitely against the grains, that's time to change your blade. So change your damn blade. Rinse the blade really, really well when you're finished, shake it dry, and leave it somewhere where it can dry standing up. Then if it has a cover, put that back on if possible. And that's how you sort of store your blade. Here's another bonus for using just your regular cleanser or treatment cleanser as opposed to shaving foams, creams, things that are designed, by the brands, the shaving brands, to facilitate the closer, better, super edgy shave. Again, looking at the ingredients, they're filled with sodium, so they're very caustic. Caustic ingredients combined with very thin metals in your blades causes them to erode faster. They break down. So the more you use sodium-rich or highly caustic substances to slick your skin to facilitate the shave, the faster you're wearing down your blade. So make the change. Any cleanser that you use that is on the gentle end of things, whereas sodium is not the number one ingredient, that's all you need. The only thing you need for a really good close shave is a super slick surface. And that can be achieved with any cleanser, any moisturizer. And again, we'll get into those kind of things later, but just as an overall rule, you don't need a separate product in order to facilitate a great shave. So this routine that I'm doing is great for all skin types and conditions, except for the driest and or the most sensitive. So acne prone, ingrown prone, razor burners, all the basic typical complaint holding gents with shaves, take notes from this, because this kind of routine is perfect for you. Anybody that has a super dry and or sensitive skin, don't worry. We're going to get into more specifics when we deep dive into the skin types and their conditions, their care, including how to shave, how to care for them. We're going to do the deep dives into each of the skin types and their usual combination conditions / disorders. It sounds complex. It is complex, but when you find out what you are, it all makes sense. So we'll get there. But at the moment, this routine that I'm showing you is great for 95% of the population. And that, as they say, is that. So now, with that all still on my face, I'm just gonna hop in the shower, rinse it off, do the body, which I will do at some point, but in a different way. And then I'll meet you back here and we'll go through the prepping your skin for the day kind of moment. See you in a bit. And we're back. So I'm fresh out of the shower, fresh. I have yet to put anything on my body because my face is my first priority. So first things first, I'm gonna start with the Fermented Complex 94 Boosting Essence from Purito. Fuck, I love this. All right, so an essence is basically like a hydrating, not even a toner. Toner isn't even a thing anymore. So this is just instant, fat, thick water that gives an immediate boost of hydration. And because we shaved, there was the mildest tingle to this, but that's just with the first application post irritation. And all you do is pat this in. You don't rub it, you just pat it. And I like to do 2 layers of this, because then that holds me in between. So it's really about 4 little shakies. Shaky, wakey. And I'm gonna leave that sopping wet for just a sec. I've got to grab my next special ingredient from the fridge. So, my special ingredient is a homemade vitamin C serum. There are some good vitamin C serums out there, really good, that are far more stable than a homemade option. I'll link below to Michelle at Lab Muffin Beauty. Shout out to Sheldon. And he was the one that initially introduced me to her. and she's a cosmetic chemist from Australia, and she is a font of geek it out knowledge if you want it. But she has recipes on how to make an effective vitamin C serum. We'll go more into this when I do my holy grails, because this is just an overview of what I'm using, not the ins and outs of why I'm using or what I'm using, if you know what I mean. So this is serum stage. This is, your skin is just drinking up moisture. Next up is my prescription. And my prescription is for rosacea, which I have a pre-rosacea, which strikes right through here. I get puffy, I get red, and I get congested and breakouts. A lot of redness, which you'll see across a lot of my face. This is a different thing. This is called poikiloderma of the civet, which I don't really have it so much down the civet, like through here yet, but it's sun damage. This is what sun damage looks like when you're my age. Anywho, I'm using Finacea. This is a 15% azelaic acid gel. And what I do is I take a very small amount, about the size of a pea, a little bigger than a pea. And this has many benefits. So it is an exfoliant, but it's akin to a salicylic kind of thing, only much different. It works deeper. So what I do is swipe it across my nose, like so. A little bit up here, a little across the chin. And then the rest I dot around, because azelaic is also good for dark spots, for other redness, irritation. And just lightly, I'm working this in. Just gentle. It's not an acid like a, it's not like a glycolic or a lactic. You don't feel it. It's not a strong alpha hydroxy. It's potent, but it's not aggressive. It's a very large molecule, so it takes a long time to sink in. The different acids have different molecular weights, so they penetrate faster and deeper than others. Glycolic, while fabulous, tends to take a bit more from the skin than it gives. Lactic is very hydrating, so you'll see lactic acid in products where it's not being used as an exfoliant. It's actually being used as a hydrator. So anyway, so I just pat that in. And then if this was night, I wouldn't be using azelaic acid. This step would have been my retin-A. We'll get into that in another time. This is a day routine. So then next up for me is, it depends. If I'm feeling really dehydrated, I have a combination skin, sort of pure combination, oily and then really dehydrated and dry around the rest of it. Both dehydrated and dry. We'll get into that. So it just depends on what I need. So I tend to wear complexion products. So correctors, I like to wear eye makeup, that kind of stuff. So that doesn't mean that you have to. So daytime, I'm prepping my skin a little differently than I would if it was sort of deep winter and I was just going out and wasn't going to be using any products on my face. So I would, at this point, go into probably a last spritz of something and then put on my heavier moisturizer. This is the Tatcha Dewy Skin Cream. This is worth every penny, in my humble opinion, even as an esthetician. It checks all my boxes. It's an elegant experience. It feels beautiful. It smells lovely. It's neither masculine nor feminine, even though the bottle the jar gives you kind of lady vibes, with the little gold spoon, but come on, we all love a bougie moment. Who are we kidding? But what I will tell you is I use this as eye cream during the day. So I do the naughty and I dip my finger in. These things are built to withstand fingers. Jars are not my favorite, but I forgive Tatcha for that. So I'm just taking like a dab on my ring finger and I'm dispersing it between the two. And then I'm just gonna run that under and around. Under and around. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Oh. And that's because I know I'm gonna be wearing a little bit of concealer today. So I don't know why I would need concealer. Anyway, I'll be wearing a little bit of that today. We'll go over that another time, but I'll just put a little bit of that around. A little bit of this moisturizer goes such a long way. All right. Then sunscreen. And I know a lot of you fuckers aren't wearing sunscreen. Now, I'm gonna do an entire video on sunscreens that I think are worth hunting down. This is one of them. Not that hard to find. It has no English on it whatsoever, but I'll put a caption and tell you what this is. It's a birch sap sunscreen. It is an SPF 50 plus, PA plus 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 plus. So plus 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 plus, 4 pluses. So this is the max. And this is the most unintrusive moisturizing SPF I've ever used. And I'm gonna show you how to put sunscreen on properly. So we're gonna pretend like I have hair. Because normally if I was going outside and I was gonna be without a hat, I would use a sports sunscreen, something that has a lot of water resistance because she's sweaty. So what you're gonna do is take your hand and you are gonna draw 2 slow fingers. 1 and 2. See, it's already starting to melt. I love that. All right, then we're gonna disperse that over the fingers of our hand. Come on, there we go. Now, I'm gonna place this on my skin. Now, I cannot use sunscreen on my eyelids. I can use a powder sunscreen there, but I cannot use any of the physical or chemical sunscreens. This is a chemical sunscreen, by the way. This does not sting. It is using the next generation of sunscreens from Europe and Asia, which are just not, you know, the octinoxates and the avabenzones. They're just not those. So you'll notice I'm not really rubbing this, I'm tapping it in. You can take it behind and you can sort of swipe it down. 2 fingers is enough to do your face and your neck for the most part. Remember, you need to reapply this. You need to reapply this every 2 to 3 hours, depending on how sweaty you get. If you're super sweaty like I am, sometimes this isn't the right one to use because I just sweat it off. But it's kind of cool today. I'm not going to be doing anything sort of labor and intensive. So you'll notice that when it went on, it was kind of like this sort of silvery white color. But as it melts into the skin in just a couple of minutes, man, you just look healthy. There's a nice, healthy sheen to the skin. And we can dumb that down if we need to. If it becomes too shiny for you, there's ways to do that super easy. And not even with makeup. So then I wash my hands because I am, for some reason, prone to futzing with my eyes. And the last thing I want is an eye full of sunscreen. And then the last thing, do not forget about this. Your lips. One of my favorite lip balms on earth has a very unfortunate name. It's the Flexidol Lip Balm by Flexidol. It's so good. I suffer from cracked corners in the winter. It's great, I love it. So I put this balm on and it is so deliciously thick. You can be going a little overboard there. I totally went overboard there. I got a little excited. But I take it around the whole way, up and over. It just feels so good. And it'll melt in. And it's fairly occlusive, meaning it has a good sort of self-sealing property to it. But then I'm going to take a little extra. This is from Laneige. This is their lip treatment balm, I think. Yeah, the lip treatment balm. It smells like watermelon-ish. Smells like American watermelon. And this just has a little bit more of a Vaseline-like texture with has a little bit of sort of an iridescence to it, which just makes me laugh. And it sort of takes away the sort of clinical feel of the Flexidol. But Flexidol is amazing, and my other favorite is Carmax US version, not Canadian. You can get it on Amazon. Just make sure it's shipping from the States. It's not expensive. It's almost exactly the same formulation, except in the States they add salicylic acid as a flavorant, but it also works as an exfoliant. That's about it for today. I hope that was somewhat helpful for you, somewhat informative. There's going to be a lot of voiceover in here too, with Should I Forget. And then I'm just going to take a Q-tip and clean out the remnants of eye debris. And that's it. So I hope it was helpful. I hope it was useful. I hope you enjoyed it. Maybe had a couple of giggles along the way. Other than that, I'm going to go tend to my sick cat and my attention-starved dog, and I will see you in the next episode.
Be the you
See ya.
you never thought you were before.